Get ready for one of the Atheist Experience top 5 calls of 2025. Here, Jim and Justin provide us with a masterclass in dealing with moral absolutists. In this case, a Christian pastor named Walter wants to apply his cognitive abilities to the understanding of morality. The atheists seem to think that a cognitive exercise is pointless, that we are well taken care of if we simply allow our instincts to manifest without running through any intellectual hurdles. Jim will nonetheless get our brains warmed up with some mathematics.
So there's a part of our brain that does just that. But when we actually try and think, let me back up. If I say 2 + 2 equals and you say 4, you didn't do the math, your brain recognized the pattern and came up with the answer. Now, if I say what is 5 billion times 3 billion, well, yeah, that's easier. You're still going to say 15 billion because you're going to recognize that pattern. What's the square root of 5,532? Now you're going to actually have to think about it. Thinking is a high energy thing, which is why we don't always do it. And we also know that humans will sacrifice themselves without thinking, because we know this from people who have rescued others, who have come back and survived it and said, I didn't even think about the danger, I just did it. So again, the thought process has nothing to do with this.
Right, but I'm now talking about a situation where there is a thought process, where you're not doing something instinctively. And
okay.
When you say that survival of the fittest can involve being willing to give up oneself for survival of the species, I say that makes no sense in an atheistic context. Because
sure it does. It's basic evolution. What are you talking about? It's basic evolution, dude.
Yeah, are you telling me that atheists, to be sure, Walter, I would die for my child in a second. There's nothing I wouldn't do for my child, even if that meant giving my life for my child. That directly allows my child to continue living when the parent has that biological factor built in that allows them to self-sacrifice for their own children. It's wired into us because it helps us survive.
So you think that if you would sacrifice for your child, it's just because it's wired into you?
I think that's part of it. Yeah, I think a lot of our behaviors are developed through evolution.
But you don't think it's a moral thing. So let's say if you sacrifice yourself for your child and some other father says, forget it, I'll let the child go and I'll look out for number one. You don't think your behavior is more moral than that person's?
Well, I would subjectively disagree with them. I would say I don't agree with that opinion.
But then, so when you say that you would, in a second, give your life for your child, that's not objectively right. That just happens to be your choice.
That's my decision.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a behavior we call moral, right? There's no such thing as morals. There's behavior we call moral, and there's behavior we call immoral. Not everybody thinks, and mental states don't matter. What matters is the behavior.
Yeah, it's clearly a combination of like evolutionary instincts and maybe a little bit of thought processing. But for most people, like I wouldn't think about it. Like if my child was in danger, I wouldn't be thinking, oh, should I do this thing for my child? No, I'm just going to go do it. It's just wired into me. Not everybody has that, by the way, but I know that I do. But let me ask you a better question, because I feel like we're going round and round on this particular point, and I don't think it's going to lead us anywhere.
Have you ever watched Dogs at Play?
Yes.
And have you ever noticed that when a dog accidentally does something to cause harm to another dog, that there's behavior that is apologetic?
Well, I guess I'll just ask you one question. And maybe you don't have the same answer, but do both of you believe that morals are completely subjective?
Yeah.
Yes.
Until someone can demonstrate that they're objective, that's the default position. The default position is that they're subjective until proven otherwise.
Okay, so here's the thing. When you just said a few minutes ago that, you would, in a second, you'd give your life for your child, I wanted to say, well, I commend that. I really approve of that. But if someone else said, well, I don't think that at all, I'd easily give up my child, I'd say, well, I don't approve of that. Now, is that purely a value judgment?
Yeah, that's my opinion.
Poor Pastor Walter. He may be struggling because of his biblical worldview and thorough brainwashing. You see, he's likely been taught of something called love, a mysterious entity that exists in people to varying degrees of quantity and quality. In fact, Walter has been taught that a divine figure named Jesus showed a commendable sort of love when he allowed his own back to be lashed until it resembled a raw burger patty. And this was not done through a wired parental instinct. It was done not for a child but for those strangers who were doing the lashing. Justin understands Walter's mental block and proceeds with a devastating deconstruction effort. Let's see if the wrecking ball can emerge triumphant and unscathed.
Okay, so if God did tell you then, he said, Walter, I need you to go and burn down this orphanage over here, it would be good to obey God?
He wouldn't, but yes, it would be good if he did.
Okay, and if God said, Walter, I need you, before you burn down the orphanage, to take the children out of the orphanage, put them through a meat grinder, and make yourself some nice burger patties for dinner, that would be the right thing to do?
No, he wouldn't say that because that would contradict.
I didn't say he would. I said if he did, would it be the right thing to do?
You're trying to make me a theological voluntarist, and I'm not.
No, I'm not. I'm saying if God, in fact, commanded you to do something, would it be good to obey? Because in your worldview, there's no limit. If God told you to do anything, it's always good to obey, isn't it?
If God told me to do something, he'd do it. He'd tell me to do it because it's in accordance with his nature, which is good.
Right, so it would be good to obey him and make baby burger patties, right?
He wouldn't do that. That opposes everything.
I didn't ask if he would. I never asked if he would. I said if he did. If God commanded you to make the baby burger patties, would it be good to do it?
That's the allowance thing again. He never commands them to cannibalize.
Well, try, Walter, focus. I know you're terrified of answering the question, but try to stay on track. If God told you to make baby burger patties, would it be right to do it?
He wouldn't do it. I can't answer the question.
I didn't ask you if he would. It's a hypothetical. All of a sudden, you're real sheepish about hypotheticals. If God told you to make the baby burger patties, logically, is it entailed that it would be good to obey?
You don't want me to answer a question with a question, but if you can answer,
it's a yes or no. It's a yes or no. I need a yes or no out of you. Let me try it with Jim. Jim, if God told you to make baby burger patties, do you think it would be good to do?
Absolutely no way under any circumstances would it be good to do that.
That was easy because he's got subjective morals. If God told you to make baby burger patties, would it be right to obey him?
You usually stoop to insulting when your logic gets weak.
He can't help himself. He's terrified. He's terrified of a hypothetical.
And I don't understand why he's terrified. It's not like you're laying a trap for him.
I'm certainly not laying a trap for him. I'm just showing him the logical conclusion of divine command theory. That's it.
Yeah, that is the logical conclusion that you're assuming. So you're making a couple of assumptions here, because unless you're going to say that when God flooded the planet, that babies didn't die, God killed babies, right? That's correct. Okay, so killing babies is okay for God to do. Why is it not good for humans to do? Would it be wrong for me to move someone from one side of a door to the other?
Objectively or subjectively?
I have absolutely no idea, because I don't know what the circumstances are, because trying to figure out what morals are often complicated because there are gray areas. It is not always wrong to kill somebody, for instance, even though you may get charged with murder.
That's the debate, folks. Our friend Jim came so close. He had it in the bag until he accidentally said there are gray areas. Atheists, don't lose heart. 2026 is a new year.